this is our big focus story. Journalists in Kerala today held a protest march to the Raj Bhavan in Thiruvananthapuram after Governor Arif Mohammed Khan on Monday expelled 2 journalists from a briefing that he was addressing at a guest house. Governor Khan, viewers would recall, accused the 2 journalists and their channels, both top news outlets in Malayalam news, of bias towards Pinarayi Vijayan government, with which, as we all know, the governor has had a series of run-ins. Now, Kerala Union Working Journalist members, along with Congress and CPM leaders, were seen protesting outside Raj Bhavan, as you can see in those pictures. The kilometre-long protest march organized by the KUWJ, or the Kerala Union of Working Journalists, ended at the governor's house. And to give the full context, let's listen in to why this controversy broke out exactly. What did the governor say during that tirade against journalists? Here it is. Journalists from these 2 publications out of the way. I hope there is no Kairali here. I hope there is no Media One here. So he takes names and he points fingers and he says that those individuals who come from these organizations should not be attending this event. So clearly a very angry Arif Mohammed Khan talking about this to a large number of media personnel who were present there. Where he is literally pointing fingers and saying, I hope they are out of this place, these 2 media organizations that he names, and says, I do not want them here. So several prominent leaders from both Congress and the left joined the stir, with the leader of opposition, V.D. Satishan, and former Finance Minister Thomas Isaac also participating in the march. Let's listen in to the reactions coming in.
വ്യക്തിപരമായി എന്നെ ആക്ഷേപിച്ചു. വളരെ മോശമായ പദപ്രയോഗങ്ങൾ നടത്തിയിട്ടാണ്. ഞാൻ ഈ സ്ഥാനത്തിരിക്കാൻ യോഗ്യനല്ല, എനിക്ക് കുറേ കൂടി കാര്യങ്ങൾ പഠിക്കേണ്ടതുണ്ട്, എനിക്ക് ഇന്റഗ്രിറ്റി ഇല്ല തുടങ്ങിയ വാക്കുകളാണ് പറഞ്ഞത്. പക്ഷെ അദ്ദേഹം ഇതുപോലെ എല്ലാവരെക്കുറിച്ചും പരാമർശങ്ങൾ നടത്തുകയാണ്. വളരെ മോശമായ പരാമർശങ്ങൾ നടത്തുകയാണ്. ആ പദവിയുടെ അന്തസ്സ് എന്താണ് എന്ന് അറിയാതെയാണ് അദ്ദേഹം പലപ്പോഴും പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നത്.
ഭരണകക്ഷി പ്രതിപക്ഷ വ്യത്യാസമില്ലാതെ കേരളത്തിലെ മുഴുവൻ രാഷ്ട്രീയ പ്രവർത്തകരും സാമൂഹ്യ പ്രവർത്തകരും ഒരു കാര്യത്തിൽ യോജിക്കുകയാണ്. അത് കേരളത്തിലെ മാധ്യമ സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യം അഭംഗരം സംരക്ഷിക്കപ്പെടണം. അതിനെതിരായിട്ടുള്ള എല്ലാ വെല്ലുവിളികളെയും ചെറുക്കണം. ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട ഗവർണർ ഇതിന്റെ ഒരു സന്ദേശം മനസ്സിലാക്കുമെന്ന് ഞാൻ കരുതുകയാണ്.
Now, another context here is Governor Arif Mohammed Khan is currently locked in a tussle with Pinarayi Vijayan-led Kerala government over multiple issues, chief among them being the issue of appointment of vice-chancellors in state-run universities. The CM had alleged that Khan's interference in the appointments indicate that Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, or RSS, wanted to saffronize the state's university. So that has been a burning issue between the governor and the state chief minister. The CM, in fact, now, of course, the governor blames Kairali for its party affiliation and the other channel for campaigning against him. Kairali News, viewers should know, is backed by the ruling Communist Party of India, and Media One TV had gone off air on the 31st of January after the centre suspended its telecast, citing security reasons when the news channel approached the government for renewing its license. The ban was suspended on the 15th of March by the Supreme Court. So, yes, these 2 media organizations have been in the news, but the question that we are asking here is, this is a matter of free press. This is a matter of somebody in the governor's position taking names of certain media organizations, publicly declaring that they should not be allowed to cover events that are addressed by him. Let me welcome here on the program Mr. John Dayal, veteran editor, who's also a member of the Editors Guild, Mr. Mithun Vijayakar, political analyst, and Anirban Banerjee, also political analyst. Before I go to the panel, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Before I go to my guests, I have Vivek Karindalam to give us a perspective on what has happened today on this matter. Vivek, bring us up to speed. The journalists' organization of Kerala has hit the streets today. What exactly do they have to say?
Yes, the journalist organization, that's the KUWJ, the Kerala Union Working Journalist, along with the support of senior politicians of both the left and the Congress, have hit the streets. They have protested and held a march towards the Raj Bhavan today morning, demanding an apology from Governor Arif Mohammed Khan. Now, what exactly has led to this? Yesterday morning, the Governor Arif Mohammed Khan has invited all the media houses to attend this press conference in Ernakulam in the guest house. All of a sudden, the moment he started talking, he asked the Kairali and the Media One news channels to move out. He literally used the word "get out" and said that these two media houses are not ready, should not be allowed to be at that point, saying that they are behaving as party cadres and they are giving wrong informations regarding the Raj Bhavan. Now, Governor was extremely agitated at that point of time, and his body language also proved that he was not accommodative to all the media houses. Remember, they were invited and they were insulted. After that, all the media houses in Kerala have decided basically to boycott the governor. He came to Trivandrum, and there were no one who actually was airport. And today and yesterday, we saw a number of media houses holding protest outside the governor's residence. Remember, this is such an unprecedented situation. The history of Kerala, there was not a situation like this where the governor had a kind of had to go with the face-off with the media houses. All political parties have condemned the act of the governor. Remember, right now there is also a face-off between the governor and the government, as what you see in West Bengal and Punjab. Here, there are two issues. One is regarding the passage of two important bills, the University Amendments Act, and the other is the Lokpal bill. And on top of that, you have the governor, that's the chancellor of the university, demanding the resignation of 9 vice chancellors. And he has given an ultimatum to them, saying that they should resign, basically because their induction procedure was not according to the UGC rules.
In multiple states, you have this situation. Governor and the state chief minister in loggerheads, Delhi, Punjab, now Kerala, in West Bengal, state after state. But why involve journalists in this? Why not shoot the messenger? That's a question I want to ask my panel. Vivek, thanks for joining us. Mr. John Dayal, as a member of the Editors Guild and as a very senior editor, this is not something entirely unprecedented. We have seen political parties shunning media houses. We have seen some leaders who do not speak to certain media outlets. But can a governor publicly admonish media houses that are seen to be sympathetic to the ruling party in the state?
I've been in the media 53 years, and I've seen similar occasions. 40 years ago or so, Devi Lal, then Deputy Prime Minister of India, at a press conference admonished certain journalists, including me. Every single journalist protested, walked out. Mr. Biju Patnaik ran out to assuage feelings and bring the press back. But Mr. Arif Khan in particular, I'm not talking of the role of governors and how in recent times most governors have been behaving even worse rubber stamps than any time in the past. But his attitude in Kerala has been arrogant, totally against established norms, even by BJP governors, even by their standards, he has exceeded the limit. But what he has done at the press conference today, to name and shame two particular channels. I mean, I would like to protest and say, I am Kerala. I am Channel 1, whatever is the name. I would like
Media
to say
One.
that.
Yes.
Because, I would like to say that I am that, like the Me Too situation. He has exceeded norms of decency. He has exceeded and violently attacked press freedom in India. He owes us, every single journalist in the country, an abject apology.
Okay, he owes us an apology. Mithun Vijayakar, do you agree? If you're looking at the pictures, you see that the journalists are protesting vehemently. The Kerala Union of Working Journalists said that it decries all attempts on part of the Kerala Raj Bhavan to interfere in the free and independent functioning of journalists. This is certainly not acceptable, not in Kerala, not in anywhere else. And I have to, as a journalist, say that this selective denial of access, it doesn't work. It should not be that way.
Yes, even I saw the video and I saw that he asked two channels in particular to leave the venue. And a man with such a vast political experience, who is currently the governor of a state, would not ask two channels specifically to leave the venue without a valid reason, is what I believe. And even in the video, you can see he's saying that.
What is the valid reason, sir?
These two channels. You see, that is something that the Raj Bhavan must clarify. But in the video, you can see that the governor was saying that these two channels have been running campaigns against me, and I do not want to give an interview to them, is what he said. And this is not the first time in Kerala. If you see the protests and all, you are making it appear like it's the first time in Kerala that such an incident has happened. This is not the first time in Kerala that media houses or media persons have been shown the doors by a person in power. It was the Kerala CM who actually introduced this practice of asking journalists to get out. You just say kadakku purathu, which is actually the equivalent of get out, and even a 5-year-old in Kerala understands what it means and to whom it indicates. So there have been plenty of trolls in Kerala, which actually shows the dictatorial nature of the Kerala CM, who asked journalists to get out in a very rude manner. At least governor was sensible enough to tell the reason why these two channels he doesn't want to give interview to. So we never saw any protest by the media fraternity when CM asked them to get lost. Nobody marched to the Cliff House or the Secretariat. Why are they doing it now? If at all, the media houses that are protesting, they should have unanimously boycotted the event. They covered it, and after that, after 2 days, they are marching to the they are showing these protests and all. But that is something I still believe that there is a valid reason for the governor to act in such a manner, and the Raj Bhavan will clarify this.
Every politician has a valid reason not to give access to certain journalists. Come on, we all know.
Only two channels.
No, I refuse to accept that. What valid reason? Why give selective access? No, that logic does not apply. If you're trying to absolve the governor of this kind of a misdemeanor, I'm sorry, that would not be acceptable purely by saying that there must be a reason.
Media One is a channel. Media One is a channel whose license was cancelled by the
and
ministry
the Supreme
itself,
Court dismissed
right?
that. The Supreme Court has dismissed the suspension,
yes.
hasn't it?
And
Can I say something?
I'm still believing that the governor has a valid reason, because one is the mouthpiece of the left and the other one is such a channel, and they have been running campaigns against him, is what he says. So because of the biased nature of these two channels, he might have said that.
Depends, Mr. Vijay Kumar, which side you are on. That will decide who is biased and who is not. Yes, Mr. John Dayal, go ahead.
No, here Mr. Vijay Kumar has made his side very clear. But I would like to point out, Mr. Nadda, the president of the BJP, Mr. Modi doesn't ever have press conferences, but Mr. Nadda has. And in his press conference are people who accuse the BJP day in, day out. And yet they have not been asked or not been thrown out of the BJP office. And that is the situation in every state. Mr. Arif has gone, I think, beyond the call of duty. I'm not even saying his relationship with, he's an agent of the President of India, and to some extent, the governor has a right. But this, when you name and shame people because you're opposing me, that is their role. In fact, every journalist there should be critical of the chief minister and be critical of the governor and anybody else. That is the given role of a journalist, which some of us have been practicing for more than half a century.
That's a given role, and I agree with you there, Mr. Dayal. I have to say that when it comes to the media, when it comes to journalists, it just simply doesn't matter whether you are on one side of the political divide or not. Journalists are journalists. They have to be given access. Selectively targeting two media organizations is not acceptable. What we have now is the Kerala working journalists taking a strong position. They've written to the governor to rethink prejudices against some media houses and ensure that the right to practice freedom of profession is enjoyed by all journalists. And I'm quoting them here, where the KUWJ said it was unfortunate that despite occupying a highly respectable constitutional position, Arif Mohammed Khan displayed blatant intolerance towards the media and repeatedly insulted the Kairali and the Media One channel journalists, who were actually, the honest truth is, merely discharging their official duties. So, and at this juncture, Anirban Banerjee, where do you stand on the fact that, if this is how things work, then journalists cannot function? Every leader who has this kind of position and stature will be able to shun certain journalists. So the freedom of the press will get a death blow at this rate.
The freedom of the press in India is not waiting to get a death blow. It has already been dealt a deadly blow. It's not for nothing that the Freedom of Press Index, the list that we are in, at the very bottom of the ranks. It's not for nothing. And if you compare the statistics, let's say from 2014 up till 2022 and before that, regarding attacks, physical assault, murders, and severe injuries to working journalists, you will see that these figures have skyrocketed. These are not data that has been supplied by some private person. Go along with the government data. Whatever the government has given you, compare those data and I will see that there is a marked difference pre-2014 and post-2014 data regarding attacks on journalists. That is physical attacks. Number two, the attack by the state, that is the government, what I am saying, in various BJP ruled states, journalists have been jailed. They have been jailed under National Security Act, under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. They have been jailed under other sections of the IPC. Just why? Why? Because they were reporting and maybe against the ruling government of that particular state, which might have been the BJP. We have also seen visuals in Madhya Pradesh, where 7 or 8 journalists being beaten black and blue, almost naked.
Okay, I think we've had a problem with the video connection there. Meanwhile, let me just break this news to our viewers that the Editors Guild of India has released a statement taking strong exception to the arbitrary act by the Governor of Kerala, Mr. Arif Mohammed Khan, of expelling journalists of 2 news channels from a press conference that was organized in Kochi on the 7th of November 2022. So the Editors Guild of India has now taken cognizance of this matter, issues a statement saying that this particular action of expelling journalists is an arbitrary act by the governor, unbecoming of someone of his position. Mr. John Dayal, is that enough, or you think there's something more that we need to do about this? It's not just about Governor Arif Mohammed Khan. Like you just heard, there have been several attacks on journalists. They're threatened, intimidated, in many cases physically attacked.
I was member of the Editors Guild Committee on violence and other things against journalists, and I can tell you even more, but we're not discussing that. I would even concede Arif's thing that he will not give an interview to somebody. Even that is, I will be able to say that that's his personal right. But to keep people away from a general press conference is against common decency. It's against, why have a press conference? You should invite only the media. Why have a press conference? Give interviews to selective journalists. When you have a press conference, you open it to every journalist. In fact, now, in this new age, you open it to every person who calls himself a journalist, who has a channel on internet, who has a WhatsApp channel, or whatever. Each one of them is as much a journalist as I am, who is an anachronism from the age of the print media and hot metal. So this is now the other important point that our colleague has mentioned is very serious. The press is under attack in a million ways. The organizations, the institutions are under attack. Every single officer has been told not to talk to the media. The accreditation has been sharply limited. Entry and exit to government agencies, to sources of information have been almost totally banned. The media has been throttled nationally. The severity.
This would be the collapse of the 4th pillar of democracy. Viewers, let's make no mistake about this. It's democracy under threat. There will be no democracy left if you allow the pillar of the press to crumble in this manner. Thank you, Anirban Banerjee, Mithun Vijay Kumar, and John Dayal for joining us on the program.